Was your dad around anywhere?
No, I've got a single parent. My mom did everything on her own. Dad was out of the picture when I was 4 years old, and he was an entertainer. He was a mariachi.
Oh,
he performed
really?
all over the place. And so, 20 some odd years later, after being an entertainer, I have a whole different understanding of my father's position in life and realize, there's two sides to every story. So,
did he circle back and try to reconnect with you?
He did about 15 years ago, and I wasn't ready. And recently, probably this last in December, his birthday's ironically enough December 25th. So it's like, sorry, I don't remember, Dad. It's you and Jesus. So my cousin reached out and she's like, hey, I'm here with your dad. I go, well, you tell him I said hello. Mm-hmm. And he was so excited that I said hello. And he sent me this long paragraph of like, there's no way to change the past, but if there's an opportunity to hang out, I'd love it. And I'm like, I might give that to him.
Well, it's funny. I was interviewing Gene Simmons from Kiss last week, sitting where you're sitting, and he never met his dad. And he grew up in Israel, or was born in Israel, and then moved out here. Mm-hmm. And he said later on, when Kiss became the biggest band in the world, that he always would send money back and kind of support him and bought him a house and stuff like that. But he just didn't emotionally have the connection. And I think there's two different heads on that. One head is it's your blood, and then the other head is more of a Gene Simmons head on it, which is I didn't know the guy. Like, why do I need to start knowing him now? No. With an element of, hey, son of a bitch, shouldn't have left. Where are you like in that world?
I was in that for many, many years. And again, I think it just took me being an entertainer and living this lifestyle to where I had a different respect and understanding for his position back then. Because he's an entertainer. He's on the road every single week. My mom met him at a show. They got together. They spent some time together. And my mom made it very clear that she loved him. She goes, no, I really loved him. And she's like, you were made with love. And I'm like, well, apparently I was made with mariachi music too. But for me, for many years, I was just resentful of the fact that I didn't have a dad. And it was more so because people would ask me, where's your dad? And so that would always be like, well, it's just my mom. Well, what about your dad? Well, I don't have a dad. And then there was always those questions. And so that, I think, built up more angst than anything. It was like, oh, like, God, I hate this. But at this point, I think I'd want to just hang out with him to hear him talk about my mom. My mom's gone, so I would love to hear his stories about getting to know my mom and what she was like, because she really spoke highly of him until she didn't.
Are you the only child from that?
Yes. So all my siblings are half, and they're much older. So there's like a 13, 14-year gap between my sister and myself. Mm-hmm. So it was like growing up an only child because there was nobody else in the picture.
And so do you think your dad circled back because he started to hear about you, or do you feel like he was just come to a place where he wanted to reconnect?
I think it's got to be a combination of the two, because I would do bits about him. Mm-hmm. And so he found out because, family here, family there. It's a big family. And, regardless of whether it's him having regret or wanting to get to know me, or the whole comedy thing is just, I'm cool either way.
So you guys feel like you're going to reconnect at some point?
I think so. He's 80 years old now, and at this point, come on, he's already made his money. He's got his own house. He doesn't need anything from me other than just, hey, can we have a connection? So I think he knows that, and I'd be open to it.
It's late at night. You should be tired, but you're shaking uncontrollably.
That's awesome.
Oh, Huel.
Can I buy you guys at least one drink just to celebrate?
This is a smart cocktail.
Just put some on his finger, just a little on your lip.